So for me, my life began normal, pretty much like everybody else, middle class parents, very happy childhood for the most part. And then when I was 8 years old, my father began sexually molesting me. And my life changed in a second and overnight. And I struggled to learn how to cope with it and deal with it. And I always tell people, how can you make sense of the nonsensical? You can't, especially when you're a child and everything that you knew got flipped upside down. So my parents eventually divorced when I was 12, and we got shuffled, my sister and I got shuffled back and forth quite a bit between parents. Eventually my mom remarried, and my sister and I went to live with my father full time. When I turned 18 and the abuse didn't stop, it became worse. I had tried to get out of the house and failed. And my sister was raped on July 4th, and I shot my father that same night. I wound up being charged with first-degree murder, and eventually I went to trial, and I was sentenced to life without parole. It sounds so insane to hear that you found freedom inside prison, but my father controlled almost every aspect of my life, and I finally knew what it was like to sleep in a bed and not be afraid at night. And I would open my Bible to random pages, and each time God tried to give me comfort. It would be, "You do not know the plans that I have for you," or something to that effect, and I would just close it and get angry. And I set God aside. And I left my razor in my locker when I would shower. About 2 weeks I lived life this way. And finally I had that come to Jesus moment where God and I had a conversation. He didn't talk back, but I talked to him. So that phone call came Thursday. On Saturday, during count time, when we're not allowed to move, we have to be still, I was summoned to the rotunda, which the rotunda, there's wings, and the rotunda is the central nerve where the officers sit. So I went out to the rotunda. I thought I was in trouble, and the officer went to hand me the telephone, the prison telephone. We're not allowed to speak on the prison telephones. As the recording came over, because they picked up on the other line, all I heard was my public defender, Ellen, say, "Stacey?" That's all I heard. And then the recording kicked in and it played. And then she came back on the line and she said, "Stacey?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "We got it." And I said, "We got what?" And she said, "The governor signed your clemency." And she said all we had asked for was that the without be removed, so that instead of serving a life without parole sentence, that I be given a life with parole sentence. I had already served 18 years. I would have served a few more probably. And she said, "He commuted your sentence to 20 years, time served, immediate release." But the one thing that I miss about prison, I look back now and I think, was there anything I miss? And there's nothing. I'm totally over it now, right? Like, it was a little difficult at first because I was institutionalized. But the only thing that I miss is having that alone time with God. The quiet. And he was so much my focus, to where now I have to do this and go here and do this and do that. And there's so much that clamors for your attention, to where while I was there, it was just peaceful. And he was really basically all I had. I can be angry and I can be resentful and I can blame everybody around me. Or I can just let go. Let go and let God. And I did. And it was the best choice I ever made. But it does hurt, and those memories do come back. And it sucks, because it's like, here I am happy, and the last thing I want is my past to overwhelm my present. God gives you the armor. God gives you the shield. God is your armor. God is your shield. I think people get it wrong most of the time because we live in such a fast-serve society that we look at God as a way for him to, what can he do for us? When truthfully it needs to be, what can we do for him? How can we serve him? And that moment where I took all my wants and my desires and I set them aside and I gave them up, he blessed me 100-fold. People wait for something to happen, or they think that, there's going to be this magical voice that speaks to them and that's God. And it's not. God's all around us all the time, and it's up to us to stop and be still and listen to him and then let him move in our life. One of my favorite sayings is, I've been bent but not broken, and I've been forged. And I believe that because I've been forged into something new. And I'm not finished. We'll see where we go. But bent but not broken.
Sounds good.
Yeah, right?